Details of the national secret deal with the government to support climate change are beginning to emerge.
This is going to end in tears. I'm sticking to my guns.
Net zero. Matt Canavan has said that he will campaign against the net zero policy.
Liberal and National parties always respect the rights of our individual MPs to sometimes hold a different point of view.
Even before the PM had a chance to raise the curtain on his long-awaited climate policies to achieve net zero emissions by 2050, the prospect that they would mark the end of climate wars within the Coalition seemed to be net zero. The Coalition's candidate in a key seat in Queensland says he will campaign against net zero, and Senator Matt Canavan has declared he will do the same. And key players, even in the Cabinet, are still clearly holding reservations.
Are you now personally committed to net zero by 2050?
I absolutely am committed to making sure that we tread very, very lightly on this earth.
And the credibility of Barnaby Joyce, the Deputy Prime Minister, as an advocate of the government policy, is under siege.
He told his party room he doesn't believe it. Doesn't it undermine the very credibility of your plan?
This plan is 100% supported by our government. 100% supported by our government. It was resolved by Cabinet last night.
Barnaby Joyce was noticeably absent from today's supposedly historic announcement after so much internal grief that the Coalition was finally confirming a net zero by 2050 target. But it turned out that the PM had his own credibility gap.
Our plan is a fair plan. It's a practical plan. It's a responsible plan. Our plan for net zero by 2050 is the plan that I believe Australians want, because it gets it right.
After all the talk about a carefully crafted, practical, detailed plan, the government presented a 15-page PowerPoint document announcing in bold font that the plan is based on our existing policies. The word plan was mentioned at today's press conference more than 100 times in 55 minutes. But there was no modelling released, and the existing policies rely heavily on technologies the government concedes don't yet exist. Yet it confidently promises 63,000 new regional mining and heavy industry jobs will be created. The PowerPoint forecasts that 40% of the emissions reductions will come from the government's Technology Investment Roadmap, 15% from global technology trends, 10 or 20% through offsets, and 15% from further technology breakthroughs. It's not exactly very specific. A 129-page version of the plan was quietly released later, which intriguingly mentioned that 100,000 jobs would be created in new energy industries, mostly in the regions, not something mentioned at the press conference.
Anyone who walk into any JB Hi-Fi store anywhere in the country today, and when they walked in there 5 years ago, will know the change in the price of what they were buying today to what it was 5 years ago. And the increase in its capacity and its capabilities and all of those things.
While zero by 2050 is finally locked in, the government is not going to increase the 2030 emissions reduction target of 26 to 28% it set in 2015.
I'll be taking this plan to COP26 for our target to achieve net zero by 2050. It will be supported by our updated projection that will see us exceed our 2030 target with emissions reduction of up to 35% by 2030.
So, no change to the 2030 target, the main focus of the Glasgow conference, just a projection that our performance will be better than our target.
Why not adopt them as an official target?
What is important is that I act consistent with the mandate I had from the Australian people. They rejected a 45% target at the last election.
At the last election, the Coalition attacked Labor relentlessly over the cost of its climate policies and for not releasing modelling.
Tell us the price, Bill. Tell us the price.
But it now seems to be taking a different approach.
It'll be released in due course. Today's about the plan. We'll be releasing modelling at another time.
Perhaps not surprisingly, the political lines were starting to be sharpened today. And not only does the Coalition not believe in taxes to achieve emissions reductions, it doesn't believe in laws either.
No taxes or legislated targets or mechanisms.
So at the election there will be a clear choice on who do people trust with the right economic plan to see Australia through this.
What we didn't see today were any details of the measures actually agreed to with the Nationals in order to get their lukewarm support for the 2050 target. And we might not see them for some time either.
All of our policies will come out before the next election. In particular, there will be a budget next year is our intention, but either way, all of our policies, we'll make decisions about that closer to that time.
It's all in the vibe of what's happening, and we'll wait and see in terms of the detail, of course. You weren't given any detail at all today.
Most business and investor groups welcomed the 2050 target, but were clearly underwhelmed by the government's approach to 2030, as reflected by the comments of Australian industry groups Innes Willix.
It's a positive start, but there's a long way to go. We would hope that the government will find the ability to set us a firm 2030 target that is in excess of the 26 to 28%. A firmer target would be a better thing for business to work around.
A better thing for business to work around, a better thing for addressing climate change, but too big a thing to get around the Nationals.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.